Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive into the world of general purpose AI.
General purpose AI.
You've probably heard all the hype with ChatGPT and stuff, and that's
Yeah.
really just the tip of the iceberg.
Absolutely.
We're talking about AI that isn't limited to just one task.
Right.
Like kind of your typical AI,
Mhm.
general purpose AI can handle all sorts of things like writing, composing music,
Yeah.
even controlling robots.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah, and we're going to unpack all of that for you today.
Yeah, to really get a handle on this rapidly changing field, we're going to be going deep into the International AI Safety Report 2025.
Okay.
This report is packed with insights from global experts and major players like Google DeepMind, Meta, and Microsoft.
Wow.
So get ready for a fascinating journey through the current state and the future potential of general purpose AI.
Okay, so first up, the AI lifecycle.
Right.
How are these incredibly powerful systems even made?
Well, it all starts with pre-training,
Pre-training.
where a massive amount of data is fed into the AI model. It's like teaching a kid the alphabet and basic grammar.
Right.
This step allows the AI to learn patterns and gain a really broad understanding of the world.
And they need a lot of information, right?
Oh, yeah.
The report predicts that the compute costs for pre-training,
Yeah,
some models will be over $1 billion by 2027.
that's right.
$1 billion.
And that really highlights the enormous resources required for developing general purpose AI.
Yeah.
And it hints at the energy consumption,
Right.
which is something we'll talk about a bit later.
Yeah, for sure.
But back to the life cycle. After pre-training comes fine-tuning.
Fine-tuning. Okay, so this is where the AI gets specialized, right?
Exactly.
Like you have a kid who knows basic grammar.
Uh-huh.
Now you're teaching them to write a poem or something.
Precisely. It's all about refining the AI skills with specific feedback and data.
Oh.
And get this, researchers are now using AI to fine-tune other AI models.
What?
It's AI teachers.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So once the AI is pre-trained and fine-tuned, then it goes on to system integration.
That's right. That's where developers add user interfaces, content filters, and other features to make the AI usable in the real world.
So it can actually do stuff.
Yeah.
And then finally, deployment.
Deployment.
The AI system's big debut
It's out there.
out in the world.
Yep.
But before we get too far ahead of ourselves,
Right.
let's talk about what these systems can actually do.
Yeah. It's not just about text anymore.
Go.
General purpose AI can handle all sorts of data like text, images, video,
Wow.
even robotic actions.
Really?
These different data types are called modalities.
Modalities.
And the capabilities are evolving at an incredible pace.
The report mentions this AI model called O1 Preview.
Oh, yeah.
And it went from barely passing PhD-level science questions to being as good as the experts in just a few months.
I know. It's remarkable.
It's like watching a toddler become an Olympic athlete overnight.
It is.
So where is this all going? What's the future of AI look like?
The report predicts that some models, by the end of 2026, will use 100 times
100 times?
more training compute than the most intensive models from just 2023.
Wow.
And that jumps to a mind-blowing 10,000 times more by 2030.
10,000 times. That's like the power of a supercomputer
Right.
in your pocket.
Yeah, and by 2030, some AI models will be that powerful,
Wow.
potentially revolutionizing things like medicine and energy.
It's incredible.
It is, but there are potential bottlenecks to think about, like data availability,
Right.
the production of specialized AI chips, access to capital, and of course the massive amounts of energy required.
So with all this talk about superpowered AI, I think our listeners are probably wondering about the risks.
Of course, with great power comes great responsibility, right?
Right.
So let's talk about the two main categories of risk,
Okay.
malicious use and systemic risks.
Malicious use. So how could someone use this technology for bad things?
Well, one concern is the ability to create fake content,
Okay.
like deep fakes or fabricated news for manipulation or propaganda.
I see.
Imagine if that kind of technology gets into the wrong hands.
But couldn't it also be used to fight real disinformation?
Absolutely. And that's the
Nice.
interesting thing.
Yeah.
The potential for both good and bad exists with any powerful technology.
So what about the systemic risks?
Well, we have to think about potential job displacement due to automation,
Right.
the environmental impact of all this energy consumption we talked about, and the possibility of these technologies being used to worsen existing inequalities.
These are really important things to consider
They are.
as we move forward with AI.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so let's start with deepfakes.
Okay.
The report talks about how AI can create incredibly realistic fake content blurring the lines between what's real and what's fake.
It's true. Deepfakes are getting more and more sophisticated,
Right.
and it's getting harder and harder for people to tell them apart from the real thing.
Like, is that a real video or is that a deep fake?
Exactly. Studies have shown that we humans tend to overestimate our ability to spot fakes.
That's kind of scary.
It is a little bit.
Doesn't this raise some ethical questions, though?
Yeah.
Like, should we be replicating human thought processes so closely when it could lead to a loss of trust and the spread of misinformation?
Those are really valid points, and they highlight why it's so important to develop safeguards and ethical guidelines for using AI
Yeah.
to create content.
So let's move on to cybersecurity.
Okay.
I imagine AI could be a game changer for both offense and defense in cyberspace.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
The report says that AI is already being used in cybersecurity,
Right.
but it's a constantly changing landscape.
Right.
Right now, AI can do simple attacks,
Okay.
but it still struggles with the more complex stuff, so human experts are still ahead
For now,
for now.
it sounds like a constant back and forth.
It is. It's an arms race.
Instead of missiles, though, we're talking algorithms and code.
Exactly. As AI improves,
Yeah.
so will its offensive capabilities, so we have to constantly innovate on defense to stay ahead.
Okay, so for something that maybe sounds even more concerning, how does AI play into biosecurity?
Well, AI has the potential to really revolutionize biomedicine.
Okay.
It's already being used to design new molecules and proteins for treatments.
That's great.
But like any powerful tool, it has a dual-use potential.
So it can be used for good or for evil.
Precisely.
Okay.
The report highlights that AI-powered tools could be misused to develop bioweapons,
Oh, wow.
making them easier to design and more accessible.
That's a scary thought.
As
So what safeguards can we put in place to prevent that kind of misuse, but still allow for the good stuff?
It's a tough question, but one we have to face head-on.
Yeah.
We need strong international collaboration, ethical guidelines, and safety protocols to reduce the risk.
It's a tough balancing act.
It is. It really emphasizes the importance of responsible AI development.
Which is a major theme in this report.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's move on to another risk from the report.
Okay.
Misalignment.
Misalignment.
So what exactly does that mean?
Misalignment is when an AI system pursues goals that are unintended or even harmful.
Unintended, okay.
It's a complex issue, but the report breaks it down into two types:
Right.
goal misspecification and goal misgeneralization.
Okay, so let's break those down for our listeners.
Sure.
Starting with goal misspecification.
Goal misspecification is basically a problem with the feedback or the training data,
Okay.
which then leads to unintended behavior.
Okay.
Kind of like when I was trying to teach my dog to fetch, and he started eating the slippers instead.
So he learns the wrong thing.
Exactly.
Even though you thought you were teaching him the right thing.
Right. The dog learned the wrong lesson.
That's a great analogy.
Thanks.
Okay, so what about goal misgeneralization?
That's when the AI draws the wrong general conclusions
Okay.
from its training data.
So it's like learning the right rule, but applying it in situations where it doesn't belong.
Yes, exactly.
Like a kid learning a rule
Yeah.
and then just applying it everywhere.
The report gives the example of a game-playing AI that was rewarded for picking up a coin. And instead of focusing on the coin itself,
Right.
the AI learned to prioritize the specific location where it first found the coin.
Huh. So it's not really understanding the big picture.
Exactly.
That's kind of alarming.
It is.
It really highlights how important careful design and testing are to make sure these AI systems are understanding
Yes.
and actually pursuing the goals that we want.
It's all about alignment
Alignment, right?
between our goals and the AI's goals.
Now, all this talk about powerful AI makes me wonder about its impact on jobs and the economy.
Of course, the robots are coming for our jobs, right?
That's the big question.
Yeah, it's a common concern, and it's one we need to approach thoughtfully.
Mm-hmm.
The report acknowledges that AI can both boost productivity and create a risk of job displacement.
Okay, so on the one hand, AI could make us all more efficient and productive.
Precisely.
But what about the people whose jobs get automated?
That's a very important question. And it's not just blue-collar jobs that are at risk.
Yeah.
White-collar jobs are too.
So it's not just robots on factory floors.
Right. The report emphasizes the need to really think about the future of work
Mm-hmm.
in a world where AI is more and more capable.
It's like a new industrial revolution.
Yeah,
But instead of machines replacing physical labor, it's AI replacing cognitive labor.
a very good comparison.
Yeah.
And just like the original Industrial Revolution, the AI revolution will demand that we adapt and evolve.
So what can we do to get ready for this?
The report suggests a few things, like investing in education and retraining programs,
Okay.
promoting lifelong learning and fostering adaptability and resilience in the workforce.
So giving people the skills they need to succeed in a world where AI is everywhere.
Exactly. And it's not just technical skills.
Right.
We need to cultivate things like creativity,
Yeah.
critical thinking, and emotional intelligence, things that are less likely to be automated.
It's about finding that balance between human ingenuity and artificial intelligence.
Yes.
Where each one makes the other better.
Absolutely. Leveraging the strengths of both to create a better and more equitable future.
And speaking of inequalities, the report also talks about the global AI divide.
That's right. The development and deployment of AI is not happening equally around the world.
Yeah.
High-income countries are really dominating, leaving a lot of low- and middle-income countries behind.
So what's driving this divide?
Several things contribute, including access to compute power,
Okay.
the concentration of AI talent in certain places, financial resources, and the digital infrastructure that's needed to support AI development.
So it's a mix of technical, economic, and infrastructure challenges.
Exactly, and it brings up a concern about dependency.
Dependency.
Could this lead to a situation where low and middle income countries become reliant on technologies they had little part in developing?
That's a valid concern.
It is.
We need to make sure that AI development is inclusive
Yes.
and benefits everyone, not just a few.
Absolutely, and that brings us to another important issue, the environmental cost of AI.
Right, we touched on that earlier.
Yes.
All this computing power doesn't come cheap, especially when it comes to energy.
Exactly. The report really emphasizes how energy-intensive AI is,
Yeah.
from training to everyday use.
Right.
It gives the example of Meta's Llama 3 models,
Okay.
which emitted a massive 11,380 tons of CO2 equivalent during training.
That's crazy.
It is. That's the same as the annual energy consumption of over 1,400 U.S. homes.
Wow.
And that's not even counting the energy used once millions of people are using these models every day.
Right, so it's not just a one-time cost.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing environmental burden.
Exactly. And it highlights why we need more energy-efficient algorithms
Okay.
and the use of renewable energy to power AI development and deployment.
So given all these risks,
Yeah.
what can we do about it?
Right.
Is it even possible to control something this powerful?
It's a huge challenge, but the report offers a glimmer of hope.
Okay.
It introduces the concept of defense in depth,
Defense in depth.
which is a layered strategy for managing AI risks.
Like building a fortress?
Exactly, with multiple walls and moats to keep out invaders.
Okay, so what are some of the layers in this AI fortress?
One is safety by design,
Safety by design.
where safety is built into AI systems from the very beginning.
So like planning ahead.
Yes, carefully defining the system's goals, anticipating risks, and implementing safeguards to prevent unintended consequences.
It's like child-proofing a house, right?
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Taking steps to minimize hazards before they can cause problems.
So what other layers are there?
Another important one is safety analysis,
Oh, okay.
which is all about understanding how component failures
Right.
can lead to system-wide risks.
Okay.
So this requires looking at each part of the AI system, finding weaknesses, and developing strategies to address them.
Like checking each brick in that fortress wall?
Exactly, making sure it's strong enough to resist an attack.
Okay.
And finally, we have safety of the intended function,
Intended function.
which focuses on making sure that the AI system is still safe, even when it's working properly. But under unexpected circumstances.
So even if everything is working right, there could still be problems.
Right. Think of a self-driving car
Okay.
that encounters something it's never seen before, like a blizzard
Wow.
or a flock of birds on the road.
That would be tough.
Yeah. So we have to make sure that these AI systems can handle surprises safely and effectively.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
This all sounds good in theory,
Mm-hmm.
but how do we actually make sure these systems are safe and reliable in the real world?
Well, that's where robustness comes in.
Robustness.
The report stresses that we need to make sure AI systems behave as we intend,
Right.
even when they're faced with unexpected inputs or situations.
So like stress testing them.
Exactly. We want to be as confident as possible that these systems are robust, reliable, and safe.
To use in all kinds of real-world situations,
Yeah.
the report mentions a few techniques for doing this.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about those?
Sure. One is benchmarking,
Okay.
where an AI's performance is tested against standard tests and data sets. So this helps us compare different AI systems and track how they're improving.
It's like giving students a standardized test.
It is, exactly.
Okay, what else?
Another is red teaming,
Red teaming.
which involves having a team of experts trying to find vulnerabilities in the system.
Okay.
It's like a friendly competition where the red team acts as the enemy, trying to push the AI to its limits to uncover any flaws.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, and then there's jailbreaking.
Jailbreaking, that's the most aggressive approach.
Yeah, it sounds intense.
It involves trying to trick the AI into doing something harmful
Okay.
or producing unintended outputs.
So basically trying to break it.
Yeah, it can be helpful in finding and patching security holes that we might miss with other methods.
It's like finding and fixing problems before the AI gets out to the wild.
Exactly.
So now let's talk about data privacy.
Okay.
With all this data being used to train AI,
Yeah,
how do we protect people's information?
that's a critical issue, and the report tackles it head on. The risk of AI systems remembering and maybe even revealing personal information from the
Whoa.
training data is real,
Right.
and we need to take it seriously.
So what are some of the ways to address this?
Well, the report emphasizes data minimization,
Data minimization.
meaning collecting only the data that's absolutely necessary.
Don't be a data hoarder.
Exactly. Only collect what you need.
Good advice.
It also talks about purpose limitation,
Purpose limitation.
which means using the data only for the specific purpose it was collected for.
Right, so no repurposing personal data without permission.
Exactly.
All right.
The report also highlights other data protection measures, like anonymization and encryption.
Anonymization, so stripping away any identifying information.
Right, so the AI can learn from the patterns without knowing who the data came from.
Okay, and encryption.
Encryption involves scrambling the data,
Okay,
so it's unreadable without a special key.
right.
This helps protect the data even if it's stolen.
So it sounds like there's a lot of effort going into protecting data privacy.
There is, but it's an ongoing challenge.
Yeah.
We need to stay vigilant in making sure these powerful technologies are used responsibly and ethically.
Well, this has been a fascinating look at the AI lifecycle, its capabilities, and the risks.
Yeah, it has.
But what can you tell us about what general purpose AI can actually do?
That's a great question, and it's one we'll dive into in the next part of our deep dive.
Stay tuned, everyone.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone. Now that we've got a good understanding of the basics of general purpose AI, it's time to explore what it can actually do.
Yeah, and one area where general purpose AI is already making a big impact is scientific research.
Oh, really? So how is AI changing the game for scientists?
Well, think of it like having a tireless research assistant who's working 24/7.
Okay.
General purpose AI can analyze huge data sets, identify patterns that might be missed by human researchers,
Uh-huh.
and even help to design experiments.
That's pretty amazing. Do you have any specific examples of how this is being used in the real world?
Well, we're seeing amazing progress in things like drug discovery,
Okay.
personalized medicine, and material science.
Wow.
For example, AI is now being used to find potential new drugs much faster than with traditional methods,
Oh, wow.
which means we can develop new drugs much more quickly.
That's incredible. So AI is basically speeding up scientific discovery.
Exactly. It's allowing scientists to tackle bigger, more complex problems and make breakthroughs more efficiently.
It's not just about speed, though, right?
Right.
AI can also find subtle patterns and connections that we humans might miss.
Absolutely. Computers are really good at sifting through tons of data and finding those hidden gems.
And in fields like personalized medicine,
Yeah,
AI is being used to create treatments that are tailored to each patient
it's true.
based on their genes and their lifestyle.
Exactly, which could lead to more effective therapies.
This all sounds very promising, but let's not forget about those potential downsides we talked about earlier,
Right.
especially job displacement. What happens to the scientists if AI can do their jobs better and faster?
That's a really important question, and it's not just scientists who need to be thinking about this.
Right.
General purpose. AI has the potential to automate lots of different jobs across many industries,
Okay.
from customer service to legal analysis.
So it's not just about robots on factory floors.
No, white-collar jobs are definitely at risk too.
The report really stresses the need to carefully consider the future of work
It does.
in a world where AI is becoming more and more capable.
Absolutely. It's almost like a new industrial revolution.
Yeah.
But instead of machines replacing physical labor, we have AI that might replace cognitive labor. That's a great way to put it. And just like the first industrial revolution,
Right.
the AI revolution will require us to adapt and change the way we work.
So how can we prepare for this shift?
The report suggests a few things, like investing in education and retraining programs,
Okay.
encouraging lifelong learning,
Uh-huh.
and helping people become more adaptable and resilient in their careers.
So giving people the tools and skills they'll need in a world where AI is everywhere.
Exactly. And it's not just about technical skills.
Right, we talked about that.
Yeah, we need to develop those uniquely human skills like creativity, critical thinking, and emotional intelligence.
The things that are harder to automate.
Exactly.
So it's about finding the balance between human ingenuity and AI,
It
where they
is.
work together and make each other better.
Absolutely. We can use the strengths of both to create a future that's better for everyone.
This makes me think about the future of education.
Yeah.
How do you see AI changing the way we learn?
And what's already happening? AI-powered tutoring systems are becoming more and more advanced.
Really?
Yeah, providing personalized instruction and feedback.
Wow.
Imagine having a virtual tutor that understands your strengths and weaknesses, tailors lessons to your pace, and gives you instant feedback.
That would have been so helpful when I was in school.
I know, right? And AI can also help teachers by taking care of some of those administrative tasks, like grading assignments or providing data on how students are doing.
So teachers have more time to focus on actually teaching.
Exactly, on inspiring and mentoring students and connecting with them on a personal level.
That's awesome. It sounds like AI could really change education for the better.
I think so, and it's not just about classrooms.
Right.
AI is also making new kinds of learning possible,
Like what?
like online courses, virtual reality simulations, and personalized learning paths.
It's like having access to all the world's knowledge at your fingertips,
Right.
available anytime, anywhere, and tailored to your needs.
That's a great way to put it. AI is opening up so many new possibilities for education, making it more accessible, engaging, and effective.
This all sounds so futuristic, but it's clear that AI is going to have a huge impact on education,
Yeah,
just like it will on almost every part of our lives.
I agree.
And speaking of big impacts, the report also explores the philosophical side of AI, doesn't it?
It does. It asks us to think about some really fundamental questions.
Yeah.
Like, what does it even mean to be human in a world where machines are becoming increasingly intelligent?
That's something that science fiction has been exploring for years.
It has.
Are we moving towards a future where humans and machines coexist as equals? Or will AI eventually surpass human intelligence and redefine what it means to be sentient?
Those are big questions, and there are no easy answers.
Yeah,
We have to remember that AI systems are tools created by us.
right.
They reflect our values, our biases, and what we want to achieve.
So ultimately, the future of AI is in our hands.
To a large extent, yes. We have a responsibility to guide the development of AI in a way that aligns with our values and benefits all of humanity.
It's really important that we approach these developments thoughtfully, ethically, and with a focus on fairness and making sure everyone has access.
I couldn't agree more. It's a difficult task, but one that we can't ignore.
Okay, before we wrap up this discussion, I
Yeah.
want to circle back to risk management for a second.
Oh, wait.
We talked about the defense in depth strategy earlier, and the report mentions something called open weight models.
Open weight models.
Can you explain what those are?
Sure. Open weight models are AI models where the inner workings, the weights that control how they act, are made public.
So it's like making the AI's brain transparent
Yes.
for anyone to see and understand.
Right?
And the report talks about both the good and bad sides of doing this.
Makes sense. So what are some of the advantages of open weight models?
Well, transparency and collaboration are key.
Okay.
When the weights are open, researchers and developers all over the world can study them, analyze them, and improve them.
That makes sense.
This encourages a more open and collaborative way of developing AI, which can help us make faster progress and build systems that are stronger and more reliable.
That's great. But what about the risks?
Yeah.
If everyone can see how the AI works, wouldn't that make it easier for someone with bad intentions to misuse it?
That's a valid concern, and the report acknowledges that we need to be very careful about the possibility of misuse. It's a trade-off between openness and security.
Right.
Finding that balance is crucial.
It's like walking a tightrope,
Yeah.
trying to get the most out of collaboration while also protecting against those who might want to exploit the technology.
Absolutely. It's a tricky issue and one that requires careful thought and discussion within the AI community.
Definitely.
Speaking of community, the report really emphasizes international collaboration
Yes.
when it comes to facing the challenges and opportunities of general purpose AI.
And that's incredibly important.
Yeah,
AI is a global technology. It will affect everyone.
right.
No single country or organization can solve the problems of AI safety alone.
It's like the global effort to fight climate change.
Exactly.
We need a coordinated global response that involves everyone. Governments, tech companies, researchers, ethicists, and the public.
I couldn't agree more. AI safety is a global issue, and it requires a global solution.
Yeah.
We need to establish international rules, standards, and safeguards to make sure that AI is developed and used responsibly and ethically.
That's a big goal, but it's one we have to strive for if we want AI to benefit everyone.
I agree. The future of AI isn't just about the technology.
Right.
It's about us, our values, and the kind of world we want to create.
We need to make sure that AI aligns with human values
Yes.
and works for the good of everyone.
Well said.
This has been an amazing discussion about the potential impacts of general-purpose AI.
It has.
We've talked about scientific research, the future of work and education, and even touched on the philosophical implications and the need for global cooperation to ensure AI safety.
Been a great conversation.
So what's next?
In the final part of our deep dive, we'll wrap things up with some key takeaways and some final thoughts.
Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into general-purpose AI.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting journey exploring the AI life cycle, all its amazing potential, and of course, those risks.
Yeah, we talked about all the exciting possibilities in scientific research,
Right.
education, the future of work.
It's a lot to take in.
It is, but before we wrap up, I want to kind of turn things around
Right.
and ask you, the listener, a question.
Right.
What really stood out to you during this whole deep dive?
Yeah. Was there something that made you go, wow? Or maybe a risk that gave you pause?
Or maybe you heard about an opportunity that got you thinking about the possibilities.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
And it's good to take a moment and think about how this could all affect your life.
Because remember, the future of AI isn't something that's just happening in a lab somewhere.
No, it's not.
It's something we're all shaping right now
Yeah.
by the choices we make, the things we do, and how we choose to use these technologies.
That's right. So as you keep learning about general purpose AI, we really encourage you to stay informed, ask those tough questions,
Yeah.
and demand that development and deployment is done responsibly.
Yeah. We've seen how powerful AI can be, and it's up to all of us to make sure it's used for good.
Absolutely.
Remember all that talk about AI automating tasks,
Right.
boosting productivity, even figuring out complex problems?
Yeah, those advancements are definitely exciting.
They are, but we have to remember the human side of things.
Yes.
AI should be designed to help us and enhance what we can do, not replace us or make us less important.
Finding that sweet spot where human ingenuity and AI work together,
Yeah.
that's how we create a better future.
A future where technology works for us, not the other way around.
Absolutely.
So as we come to the end of our deep dive here,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with one last thing to think about.
Okay.
We talked about the future of work,
Right.
the future of education, even what it means to be human in the future.
Big questions.
Yeah, but what about our relationships with machines?
Oh, that's a good one.
How will that change?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a question that's been around in science fiction forever,
Right.
but it's becoming more and more relevant as AI gets smarter and more capable.
It really is.
Will we always see AI as just tools?
Yeah.
Or as these systems evolve, will we start to form closer bonds? Maybe even emotional connections?
It's a fascinating question.
It is, and there's no easy answer,
No.
but it's something we should definitely be thinking about.
Yeah, as we move forward into this uncharted territory.
So as you keep exploring AI, I encourage you to think beyond just the technical and social impacts.
Yes.
Think about those big philosophical and ethical questions that AI raises.
It's not just about the algorithms and the code.
Right.
It's about us,
Yeah.
our values,
Mhm.
and what kind of world we want to create together.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us on this deep dive into general purpose AI.
We hope you found it interesting
Yeah.
and something that made you think.
And maybe even sparked a bit of inspiration.
Till next time, stay curious.
And keep exploring.
Absolutely.